anyone who wishes to comment at this time.
Chairman Bergen and members of the freeholders, thank you for considering access to the Watchung Reservation for mountain bikers.
I'm sorry, could we have your name and town of residence, please?
Sorry, I apologize. My name is Tom Gottlieb. I live in Westfield. I appreciate the fact that you ran what were very emotional meetings with a lot of boys and kept them under control. And didn't necessarily have that same feeling in the meetings at Trailside. And I appreciate the fact that there was more civility here because of the way you ran the meetings, Chairman Bergen. I appreciate also that you had suggested that liability was not an issue and that cost was not an issue, and that the neighbors' objections of the proximity of the use of the mountain bikers could be overcome, and the word reservation was not an issue. I also wanted to respond to other comments that you had made in the last meeting, specifically with respect to the fact that the reservation is too intensely used. I've never seen any of you in the reservation, and I'm in there hundreds of times. I've been using the reservation for 23 years. My neighbor and best friend, Bob Penn, has the same experience. For example, last week, I was in there on 3 occasions for 1.5 hours, 3 hours, and 2.5 hours. And in that time of 7 hours, I only saw 3 men running and 1 woman walking her dog off a leash. My neighbor couldn't be here today because it's his wife's birthday, but he has a very similar experience. He spends a lot of time running there. The density of the trails in the reservation, I'm not really sure. You said you had looked at 7 parks, Chairman Bergen, and one was Ringwood, which is outside the Beltway. So it has thousands of acres, I suppose. So I didn't think it was a very valid comparison. With respect to Lewis Morris, I've seen 2 different numbers for the acreage, 1,154 acres and the 2,000 you cited. I'm not sure whether that is because it includes the Jockey Hollow National Battlefield Monument Park or not. You talked about the fact that mountain bikers do damage. I think horses do more damage. And by the way, I've been at the stables many, many times, and I've seen no children who looked like they were from Plainfield or Elizabeth there. I've seen extremely expensive SUVs there transporting whoever is using the stables. Bike trails are single track. I ride between 4,000 and 6,000 miles a year. We, as a community of mountain bikers in Westfield specifically and in Union County, ride with our children. I volunteer at the NICA races, and they're held on single track trails. I didn't understand that comment about the width of the trails. Strava, you mentioned a ride on 2/14/15 that included a speed of 24.8 miles per hour. That's correct. It was in the 2nd mile of the ride, and it occurred on Baltusrol Road going downhill north of 78. The top speed on the trail of that person who was here and was not a scofflaw, but was riding the trails with the knowledge of Armando, who is Ron Zuber's employee.
Please direct your comments to the board.
I apologize. The person was not a scofflaw, but was riding the trails with the knowledge of Armando to check the trails out for suitability and to get knowledge of the trails. I don't know who was riding on October 21st, 15, but if I see you after the meeting, perhaps you can tell me and I can clarify that as well. Finally, law enforcement. On Sunday, there were 4 marked cars in the Loop playground lot. I don't know to what purpose, because I don't know what 4 cars is saying. If it's making a statement, I don't think some officer in a car is going to stop a mountain biker and dive down the single track, but there were 4 cars there, and at the same time, a child on a bike was struck by a car and seriously injured on Springfield Avenue adjacent to Nemahegan County Park. So it's a question of where you want to put your resources. I understand 2 ATVs on Friday or Saturday or Sunday. I heard one on Saturday. We're chasing mountain bikers in the Watchung Reservation.
Thank you, your 5 minutes are up. Thank you for your comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.